My name is John Carpenter. I used to be best friends with Liam Payne, formerly of One Direction, and we both went to school together at St Peter's Collegiate School from year 7 until year 11, and this is my story and my memories of the time that we shared together. So it was the first day of year 7 and I found myself looking like I was on my own with no one to talk to, and then suddenly a young man, a little bit shorter than I was, came up to me and said, "John, come on, let's get involved with the cross country." And that young man was none other than Liam Payne. Liam and I from that moment became best friends in year 7. And we did everything together in sports and in class as well. We shared classes for the first couple of years in our time together at St Peter's. And Liam was a very hard-working, humble, encouraging and inspiring young man who wanted others to achieve exactly what he wanted to achieve. He had been a runner for 3 or 4 years here at Aldersley Stadium for Wolverhampton Bilston Athletics Club, but he wanted me to also join a running club as well, and that running club for me was Tipton Harriers. And Liam and I ran many competitive races together, many of which were here at Aldersley in Wolverhampton, where it be in the cross-country course just behind us there, or on the athletics track for our athletics competitions. And Liam was a very, very keen athlete, and he always encouraged me and said, "Come on, John, we can do this together." And boy was he right. For the first 3 years at our time at St Peter's, Liam was the best runner in the school. And it took me until when we were in year 10 to actually start to catch up with him, and then eventually become a cross-country champion myself for 4 years in Wolverhampton. But none of that would have been possible without Liam Payne. Liam was so humble. He was very grounded. He would always be so loyal and kind and caring towards myself and others at St Peter's. And to have heard the heartbreaking and shocking and saddening news that he had suddenly passed away was very, very moving. And he's only 31. We were great friends together in particular in our early years at school. And he was a very keen athlete, as I've said, but when he reached year 9, that was when he started to focus more so on the singing side of things. He auditioned for the X Factor for the first time round, and he got to the judges' houses stage with Simon Cowell, and Simon Cowell told him to come back in a couple of years' time and to get his GCSEs done because he was only so young at the age of 14. And then in 2010, he came back to the X Factor and One Direction was born. And it was amazing, really. Liam came back to school with only 2 weeks to go until the X Factor final, and I had a feeling at that moment when he returned to St Peter's that it would be the last time that I would see him. And that unfortunately proved to be the case. And I'll never forget my parting words to Liam, which were, "Liam, I know you're going to get this fame. I know you're going to get lots of money out of this, but do not let the fame go to your head." And that was the last time that I saw him. And yes, we exchanged a couple of messages online a couple of years later on Facebook, and we were actually going to meet together in London, but sadly that didn't happen. And I also saw him at Molyneux perform one of his songs from One Direction at half time shortly after that. And he was a totally different person then. He'd gone on to a new level of fame. But I'll never forget that time when it was the last occasion that I saw him at St Peter's, where my friend Liam was being surrounded by so many young people who were running out of their classrooms looking to take selfies with him. And he actually joked and said, "John, I think you're going to have to be my bodyguard. There are so many of these young people that are going to probably want to take selfies with me." And so that was really surreal to see that at the same time, but also balancing in my head that it was only Liam. there was a joke that went around St Peter's when we got into year 10, and actually I pushed him into singing because of starting to beat him at cross country in particular. And certainly over the course of that 2-year period from year 10 to year 11, he certainly focused more on the singing side of things, but he was so determined to succeed, and he really did succeed and achieved something really, really special, something that the people of Wolverhampton hadn't seen before. Yes, it's such a heartbreaking and sad situation. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family at this time. But I really want to make a real positive story out of this, really, and that is that Liam was a great young man, and he was a very, very loyal friend. And I, along with lots of other young people who went to school with Liam Payne at St Peter's, will sadly miss him.